It's lemon ginger tea. I love the smell of it. Hello there. How are you guys? This is gonna be one of those moments I found myself fall back into my old self and how I encourage my new self to keep going. But other than that, before we jump into it, I'm actually doing okay. The volunteer role is still going. Um, if you guys haven't watched my other videos, my name is Mary, and I do videos like this, sharing my journey with people, anybody out there who might resonate with. And it's been 2 years I've not done some proper job. I just do volunteer role here and there, and I find it very fulfilling. And lately, I joined a charity organization where I do a role called People Care, and it is very satisfying, and it encouraged me a lot to work seriously on my inner healing and some traumas that I thought I've healed, but obviously it hadn't been healed. And this is a really good opportunity to for me to explore that. While talking to people, I get to see which triggers I need to work on and what part of me still need attention and care. And it is an interesting journey that I've been on. On top of that role as a people carer, people care, I also do something called communication, which is a department that is responsible for media and stories and things like that. It has also been quite challenging, but like quite a journey. I have not done much yet, just a couple of story here and there, but mostly I'm just still in the process of being inducted, and I look forward to actually do it more. So in this video, we are going to talk about choosing something without feeling guilty, or choosing yourself without feeling guilty. Because a lot of the time we don't feel as guilty if we choose someone and we care for someone. We can justify it as we're being kind. But if it is about ourselves, we will end up judging our own self, or even some pre-recorded beliefs in our head keep reminding us that that might not be a right path to take. And we don't really enjoy doing that, or we feel guilty choosing ourselves, and this video is going to be about that. So here's how it goes. I used to go to this spa, and probably like most people, when you are comfortable with some therapists, you would want to stick with them, and if they're comfortable with your body. Well, nothing dramatic actually. It was just comfort, and I enjoyed going visiting there once in a while. And they knew my body, they knew what pressure worked for me, and they handled it well. And honestly, when you are paying for a service like that, choosing who works on your body is, for me, I think it's very normal to have a choice. And they also normalize it. But over time, and especially the past few days, I went there and I noticed a little bit of shift, energy shift. And people felt quieter, and they get more careful and awkward around each other. Actually, no one said anything to me, no confrontation, or no one told me that there was a problem. No. But I could feel it. And suddenly, I was walking into a place that was meant to help me relax. But I realized my body was not relaxed anymore. And that was when the old me tried to step in. The old me tried to remind me to start managing people's emotions. Did I do something wrong? Am I being unfair by choosing some people? Should I explain myself why I do that? And I even thought about apologizing, and not because I attacked anyone, and not because I meant harm, but because I didn't want anyone's wounds to be touched because of my choice. That I want certain therapists to work on my body, because I don't want my body to continue being experimented with different therapists, and especially if I already know that some of the therapists I don't really like how they do things. I certainly would want to just work with like one or two people that I know closely and have talked to. And so the old me was worried about managing people's emotions. And but at the same time, I also stopped and really looked at the situation. And I realized I didn't come here to compete with anybody, or I didn't come here to divide anyone, or I didn't come here to with malice. I came, I paid, and I chose based on my experience with my own body. And that's when I realized something important. Everyone is responsible for their own feelings. Yes, I don't have to manage them. If my choices touches the wound in you, that doesn't automatically make me wrong. If you need someone to talk to, and if you want to unpack something, tell me about it. I can be ears for you, and that's human. I would encourage it, and that's relational. But the tension, the awkwardness, and the emotional shift between people, that's not mine to fix. That's the system's problem, not a personal one. And it made me think about how many of us do this in life. Like, how many of us bend ourselves into knots trying to manage other people's emotions? Like, explaining, over explaining, like, apologizing for things that we didn't do wrong, just so no one else had to feel uncomfortable. That's usually the motive. We want people to be comfortable. But here's the honest question that I had to sit with lately. How will anyone ever notice what needs to be healed inside of them if they are also afraid of having a wound touched? Like, if every time something resurfaces or something surfaces, someone else rushes in to smooth it over with some, I don't know, fake compliments or apologies. When this healing actually begins? I also want to say this. I understand that sometimes these feelings don't come from present moment. Like when I just choose to be with certain people to work in my body, it's not at that moment only. Sometimes they come from old experiences, from not being chosen, not being seen, and not being valued. And when a choice happens in front of us, it can touch that old wound again. But that doesn't mean my choice was meant to hurt you. If I say no to someone, it means I say yes to myself. I'm also someone. And it simply means something inside you is asking for care. And here's the part I had to be honest with myself about. I can honor your pain without abandoning myself. That is for sure. If I start making choices based on everyone else's emotions, I betray myself. Why would I do that? I've done that and I regretted it big time. I don't want to do it anymore. And I would never want to do it anymore. I choose what's right for me, not to hurt and definitely not to divide, but to stay aligned. And I trust each person to tend to what surfaced inside them because that's where healing begins. Anyway, compassion does not require self betrayal. And this is something that I have to sit with. I don't have to betray myself to be compassionate. It is quite raw, and I'm not sure how you guys are gonna hear how this will come across to you guys. But if you make some choices that end up hurting some people, or they unless you deliberately or unless you show malice or go to tell people that they're bad or you start punching them or you really do something to hurt them, then of course it is something to be addressed. But you're just choosing yourself and it hurts some people and you cannot really please everybody. And people's wounds are not your responsibility. If it is touched, it's their responsibility to heal, to work on, and to care for it. And just like how someone touches your wound, you also don't go around and uh, blame people. And maybe you have, like I have to, but at the end of the day, we are all responsible for our own healing. And of course, we can still be there as ears and offer our love and time if they need someone to talk to. But people projecting their own unhealed traumas and insecurities or anything that you never caused onto you, that is not your fault, and it absolutely don't need to waste time sitting with it and feeling guilty for choosing the most important person in your life, you. I think I'm done for today's video. I probably should go to sleep now, but let me drink some tea first. If you watch till now, where are you watching from? Let me know if it's okay with you. I hope to see you again in my next video. And my last thought is Don't let anybody make you feel guilty for choosing yourself. Especially your intention was never meant to harm anybody. And you don't have to be responsible for what they feel, because it is a battle they need to fight for them to heal. You cannot really fight for their battle. You cannot just walk in to smooth over somebody else's wounds as soon as it gets surface, and how will they ever heal? And the thing is, it keeps coming back until you face it. And the thing is, you might not be the first person to trigger it. A lot of people might have triggered it, and you're just one of those people, and they might see that your empathy and you care too much. They just use the opportunity to blame it on you. Anyway, I'm not saying that that happened in that spa, but listen to your body, which is something I've spent years not listening because of this belief that your flesh is, what do you call that? Do not, I forgot. Don't listen to your flesh or whatsoever. But you know what? Your body keeps the score of everything you go through. Your mind might forget because you probably go through a lot of things and it keeps jumping from one knowledge to another knowledge, but your body remembers. And it happened to me many, many times. Whenever I want to meet someone, and or if they come here for dinner, and I immediately feel like I have back pain here, or if my nervous system is not settled, it feels very unsafe. I I usually thought that something might be wrong, and or maybe I'm nervous because something is wrong with me. But since I work on my healing journey, I started to see that yes, this nervous system is reminding me of that situation when I got hurt, or when someone said this or that. At that moment, I was bracing. I wasn't really aware of what was going on around me, and my body actually listened to all of that, and it keeps score. I can go on and on, but I probably should stop now and go to sleep. Wherever you guys are, please take care, and I hope to see you guys in my next video. Probably more cozy like this. It makes me really happy. My nervous system feels really uncomfortable when the lights are warm like this, and especially with these candles, and it makes me happy. Do something that makes you happy. And